Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elena and here I talk about stuff that I read. Today I'll be doing a side-by-side comparison of two book subscription services that I currently use. Book of the Month and Aardvark Book Club. I have been a member of Book of the Month for 11 months and so far I've gotten 2 boxes from Aardvark Book Club. Here are some of the main differences that matter to me. First of all, the target audience is slightly different for each of these book clubs. Book of the Month, their target audience is women, so most of the picks are catered towards women, although there is occasionally a pick that a man might enjoy as well. Usually, the main picks for Book of the Month are romance, thriller, and fiction. While Aardvark does occasionally have romance, it is not the main focus. Aardvark has a lot of sci-fi and horror picks, which Book of the Month is really missing. Book of the Month picks are typically a little bit more mainstream. Aardvark picks tend to be a little bit more indie by authors that are maybe not as well known. For both book subscriptions, there are 5 to 7 monthly picks that are handpicked by an editorial team, and you can select your picks from there. What I really love about book subscription boxes is it takes out the guessing work. There are so many books out there, there are so many options, and it really helps me personally when somebody else does the research for me and presents me with a few curated options that might be appealing to me, and I can just choose from there. I don't know about you, but the more I read, the longer my TBR gets. There's so many books and so little time. In the free time that I have, I want to be reading something great. I don't want to just pick something random and potentially not enjoy it. In terms of release date of the monthly picks, Aardvark pretty strictly sticks to a schedule of the first of the month. Book of the Month sometimes releases their books a day or two early. The great thing about this is that there's never an overlap, so you don't have to worry about getting a book from one service that is also available at the other service. I live in Canada and Book of the Month typically ships a little bit quicker to me. Aardvark sometimes takes a couple of extra days to ship out. I wait much longer for the shipping confirmation, and the shipping usually gets stuck in Texas for a couple of days before it leaves and actually heads over my way. Waiting for these boxes to ship is the longest week of my month. There tends to be fluctuation with both services in terms of book availability. If you don't order right away in Aardvark, sometimes the books sell out and you need to wait for the reprint and you may get it later on in the month. That hasn't happened to me because I'm ordering those books the instant they're released. There have been times when my Book of the Month book ships out later because I get something that's a special edition or I add something that has not yet been released and therefore only gets shipped after the release date. Both services are typically very transparent with any delays. I won't go into too much detail about the price because it is about the same. It doesn't make a significant difference one or the other. There's a base price for the monthly subscription and then there's a discounted price for any add-ons. The only pricing issue that I really have is that as a Canadian, I'm not eligible for some of the promo codes or other perks. I was told by Aardvark customer service that I'm not eligible for my first box for $4 because shipping in Canada is more expensive. Both subscription services have a referral program, although one is more straightforward than the other. With Book of the Month, if you're in the US, you can send your link to a friend and they can get their first box for $5 and you'll get a book credit. In Canada, our friends are not getting $5 books, but they are getting $5 off their first month and the person who refers still gets a free book credit. Aardvark is a newer service and I'm hoping that in the future they will have a better and clearer referral program. As of right now, they just ask that you email in with your friend's information if your friend signs up, and then you can get a book credit. After I recommended Aardvark to a friend, she signed up. I right away emailed with her information, so just her name and her email address that she used for the book subscription, and they added a credit to my account. Book quality is also something that is important to me, although when I only had Book of the Month, that's not really something that I thought about. For the book quality, I'm going to compare 2 of the May picks. Immaculate Conception is from my Aardvark box and Man Made of Smoke is from my Book of the Month box. I'll start with Aardvark. So the cover is a lot smoother. It has kind of like a velvety finish. What a lot of people like about Aardvark editions is that the logo is included in the front cover, not on the spine, and it's usually incorporated in a way that makes more sense with the cover. When I remove the dust jacket, you'll see that it's a 2-tone cover with the logo there We have the spine that's looking like this, and it's a really soft, velvety finish as well. The actual quality of the print is very good, and I haven't had any issues with printing. The Book of the Month dust jackets are a little bit more papery, and you'll see that the logo is right at the very top corner for all of the books, as well as at the top of each spine. This didn't used to bother me, but now that my book collection is growing a little bit, I don't love this logo at the top of the spine. It makes it a little bit hard for me to organize. Should I be putting all the Book of the Month books together? I like to sort my books by genre, so it makes it a little bit tricky to be aesthetically pleasing. When I remove the dust jacket, you'll see that it's also two-tone. However, I feel a distinct separation between these two colors. I do like the shiny logo here, and that it's silvery on the back. There isn't a very major difference in terms of printing quality for the most part. However, I've had more defects with my Book of the Month books than with my Aardvark picks. Book of the Month once sent me a book that was damaged inside. It was kind of this inside portion that was ripped and folded. And when I sent them a picture of it, they sent me a free replacement. For a size comparison, they're almost the same height, but Book of the Month is a tiny, tiny bit taller. Both boxes come with bookmarks. Typically, Book of the Month will have one bookmark included, and it'll have a cute little saying, like this one says, "I've been expecting you." Aardvark has this one. I actually prefer the design of the Book of the Month one because it doesn't bend as strangely. It still bends a little bit at the top. With this tiny little part of the Aardvark bookmark, I find that the ears bend a lot more. I like that Aardvark sends me a bookmark for each of my picks because then right away I put one in each of the books, and when I pick the book up, it already has a bookmark. Let's get into the app for both subscription services. Aesthetically, I prefer the interface on the Aardvark subscription. It's cleaner, easy to navigate, and you can update from categories to months. When you go to the My Shelf tab, you can see all of your books and your private ratings. When you rate a book here, this is really just for yourself. No one else will see this rating, and I'll get into that a little bit further with Book of the Month. I like this nice clear TBR section. There's a club tab, although I've never seen much activity here, so I don't really use this tab at all. A disadvantage with Aardvark is that you can't actually add any books to your next box. You can add a new book to your TBR, but you can't include it in the box or in your cart until the new books are released. Both apps indicate when books are sold out, and typically sold out books are not reprinted. I find that Aardvark books sell out a lot more than the Book of the Month books. I'm guessing because it's a smaller, newer company, they just don't print as many, and it doesn't make sense for them to reprint any picks, so they just mark them as sold out. This kind of adds a sense of urgency to it, like I need to get all of them before they sell out. Let's take a look at the Book of the Month app. On the main page, it feels like social media. They have reels and they have polls. When you go into the Books tab, there are so many categories. It's very easy to search and it's very clear. Book of the Month generally has a much larger selection of books, and they include a lot of them as add-ons. There has been some criticism regarding the add-ons. Some people are not very happy that Book of the Month tends to put the more anticipated books into add-ons so that you're essentially forced to get a monthly pick to get your add-on. You cannot order just add-ons. You need to have at least one monthly pick or a member favorite, which is a small selection of books. Sometimes if there's something that I want to buy, I check Book of the Month first, because if I see that it's available as an add-on item there, it's much cheaper for me to buy it as a Book of the Month add-on rather than to go to a bookstore and buy it there. In the US, the add-on price is $9.99, and for Canadians, it's $14.99, which is a steal of a price for a hardcover. In the next tab, you can see your badges, the progress towards those badges, which is kind of a cool feature, although not super necessary for me personally. You can also see everything that you've read, what you've rated it, and the reviews that you've left. Now, this is a huge difference between the Book of the Month and Aardvark books. Aardvark keeps your reviews very private. Book of the Month shows the percentage of people who loved it, liked it, and didn't like it. You can see public reviews for the books as well. This could be a good thing or a bad thing. It depends on what your preference is. Of course, when I use Book of the Month, I am looking at the reviews for books that were released previously. You won't see reviews for new picks. I also, after reading a book, like to compare my opinion with other people's opinions. Aardvark doesn't give you that option. You really have no idea what people think about Aardvark books unless you're going on Reddit or on Instagram to find out what people are saying. With Aardvark, they give you the opportunity to go into books blind and form your own opinion. You can always go to Goodreads if you really want to see someone else's reviews. Let's talk about how many books we can order from each service. Book of the Month is based on tiers. When you first sign up for Book of the Month, you can get 1 main pick and 2 add-on items. After 3 boxes, you reach friend status. And at this point, you can get 1 main pick and up to 4 add-ons, so 5 books total per box. In this case, you're just paying the base price for 1 book, and each additional book is $14.99 in Canada, $9.99 in the US. Once you reach 12 boxes with Book of the Month, you reach BFF status, and you get extra perks. My birthday was in May, so I just missed my birthday perk, but I'll get it next year. Aardvark only allows 3 picks, regardless of how many boxes you've ordered. Combing through Reddit, I see that some people actually have 2 or even 3 accounts so that they can get more books from Aardvark. My theory is, since they're a smaller company and they sell out of books faster, they want to manage their printing to make sure that they're filling the needs of their current customers. With both book subscription services, you're able to skip a month with no fees. When I first signed up for Aardvark and I already had Book of the Month, I thought, oh, I'll just choose which box I like more and then order only from 1 box. Realistically, that didn't work out so well. Because there's so many great picks, I want to order from both. I really am going to try to limit myself to just 2 to 3 books per box. Since I started getting boxes from both Book of the Month and Aardvark, my physical TBR is growing at lightning speed. Overall, I love both book subscription services. I've been a little bit more excited by the Aardvark picks lately than the Book of the Month picks. I also love that the Aardvark picks can be enjoyed by men and women, and so now I have exciting books that I can share with my husband. He's never really been interested in any of my Book of the Month picks. I think having been subscribed to Book of the Month for so long, I started to get a little bit tired of some of the genres. Although some of my picks from Book of the Month have been absolutely fantastic, some of my all-time favorites, other picks have been a little bit underwhelming. I think Book of the Month actually has put me off of the thriller genre because I haven't been very happy with thriller picks. But there has only been 1 month of the last 11 where I really didn't want anything from the main picks, and I got one anyway so that I could get 4 add-ons. In the future, I'm just going to try and be patient, and if there are no main picks that I like, I'll skip that month and hold off on the add-ons to the following month. Do you have one or both of these? What are your thoughts? If you only have one, are you now considering signing up for the other one? In my personal experience, having both subscription boxes really helps expand my palette and keep things interesting with different genres with every read. Like, comment, and subscribe for more book chats from Elena.